Okay, so the items you are going to need to make this witch's hat wreath is a wreath form. I got mine from Dollar Tree. A placemat. I also got this from Dollar Tree. A cornucopia. I got this at the Target dollar spot for $3, I believe. Some floral wire. You could use zip ties as well, and some hot glue. So the first thing I'm going to do is snip my floral wire into several pieces because it does not need to be super long. Even a little bit of floral wire will do the trick. So now you're going to want to make sure that your placemat covers your wreath form, and you're going to take a piece of the floral wire and stick it through the wicker material of the placemat. It's relatively easy to do. It's a pretty thin placemat, and you just want to kind of maneuver it between the little grass strands. It's going to look sort of like a bread tie, like a bread bag tie. So you're going to bend it over and you're going to stick it through in another spot. Try not to make your gap between the two holes too big, otherwise it's going to be pretty apparent that there is a wire there. So next thing you're going to do is just twist to secure it to the wreath form. And I did this 4 times for the whole thing. Then I'm just hot gluing down the placemat where it doesn't adhere to the wreath form, just so that it's not sticking up and you can't see the wreath form coming through. And I'm just using hot glue to do that. So now I'm taking my cornucopia and I'm centering it to see where I want it to be. This is going to form the top of the witch's hat. And I'm taking a little bit more floral wire, I'm poking it through the wicker of the cornucopia, and then I'm also going to poke it through the strands in the placemat. And then I'm going to twist it once again. I believe I did this 3 times for the top of the hat on the placemat, because I'm also going to secure it with hot glue. Just double security measures that it doesn't fall off in the middle of somebody decorating. Here's a tip: use pliers to twist your floral wire because they will wreak havoc on your fingers. It hurts physically to do this sometimes because it can be sharp, so make sure that you're careful using floral wire and use pliers if you need to. Once it's secured, I just kind of reinforced it with a little bit more hot glue, and then the next step is that I am taking some of the matte black paint from Apple Barrel. You can get this for 59 cents at Walmart, and I'm just going to cover the entire thing. Now, it is a little bit difficult to paint wicker and whatever this placemat is made of, like a grass material, so I ended up doing maybe 3 or 4 coats. I didn't have a regular paintbrush either. I was using these foam sponges, which they're not the greatest. I wouldn't recommend them for this job. I would definitely go back and spray paint. I think that would be your best bet if you had black spray paint. Otherwise, this worked fine, but I did have to do 3 or 4 coats just to get it to the point where it looked black. And mine still had some green showing through at the end, but that's okay because I thought it looked kind of cool and Halloweenish, so I left it. So I don't need to show you all of my painting, which I tend to do. So I'm going to cut the painting area short and I'm going to jump right to the next step, which is attaching a little belt on my hat. So I took some leftover tulle that I had from a Freddy Krueger wreath that I made, and I cut just enough to wrap around the base of the hat twice. I wanted to do a little bit of a thicker band. So I measure it out so that I have enough to form a bow as well. And I just make a little bow here to kind of cover. And then I ended up using just a little bit of hot glue to secure it to keep it from sliding upwards too much and off the top of the hat. I also ended up trimming off the left side of the bow a little bit. So I also ended up picking up these little witch legs from the Dollar Tree, and I decided I was going to attach those to my hat. So I'm just kind of measuring out the length to make sure that they don't look funky. I want it to be sort of to scale, if that makes any sense, because it's just legs and a hat, but I didn't want them to be too long. I thought it looked awkward. So I'm just using this to slide through the wreath form and sort of measure where I want my legs to fall. That looked good, so I left it at that length. And then I remembered that I had picked up these little pumpkins with the "Witch is in" sign on them, and I decided to add that to the wreath. So I'm just pulling out the little shoelace things that they have dangling on here, and I am going to use just the inside sign that says "The Witch is in" because it has the stripy legs on there, and I just thought it would be a cute addition. And I also ended up gluing a little glittery pumpkin in the center of the bow, just to finish it off. So this is the finished product. It was probably about $8 to make this because I did have the tulle and the black paint on hand. I would say it was well worth it. It's a cute little, not too busy addition. It's an interesting take on the cornucopia, and I am pretty proud of how it turned out. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'm so thankful for all of you tuning into these videos. I'm glad that somebody likes to watch me work with my addiction, which is crafting and especially Halloween crafts. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I appreciate it. I will see you in the next video, and have a wonderful day.